Back at the roundtable with another NBA stat preview, today showing how these three numbers will tell the story of the 2018-19 Houston Rockets. If you're new to the channel, make sure to check out the full playlist for previews for all 30 NBA teams. 14.5% of Rockets' possessions ended in isolation, a whole 4% higher than the second place Thunder. Their 1.12 points per possession off isolation was also first in the league, a whole 0.12 points higher than the second place Clippers. And those 1.12 points per possession turned into 17.5 points per game, 7.6 points more per game than the second place Cavs. It's clear the Rockets were far and away the best isolation team last year, and head coach Mike D'Antoni truly embraced it after being hesitant to do so early in his career. Having the two best isolation players in the world certainly helped. Out of players who went ISO on more than 8% of offensive possessions, James Harden and Chris Paul finished first and second respectively in points per possession, Harden at 1.22 and Paul at 1.1. They both easily had the highest frequency of isolation plays, Harden at a whopping 35.1% and Paul finished second at 29.3. Putting that in perspective, third place finisher LeBron James just finished at 24.4% of possessions, nearly 5% less than Chris Paul, and nearly 11% less than Harden. Newly signed Carmelo Anthony certainly fits in this isolation-based offense. He's an effective isolation scorer who went ISO on 18.1% of possessions last season. On these possessions, he scored an above-average 0.89 points per possession. However, this number has fallen in his previous 2 years, from the 80th percentile to the 78th, and in last year the 58th. Where Melo does not really fit in is on defense. Each of the last 2 seasons, the Rockets have finished top 2 in offensive rating, last year finishing first. However, their defense dragged behind in 16-17, but was much improved last year, improving from 18th to 6th. Much of this improvement could be attributed to personnel changes. The Rockets acquired Luc Mbah-a-Moute, Chris Paul, and PJ Tucker going into last season. They used defensive liabilities such as Ryan Anderson less, and even only used certain players who could switch everything when playing the Warriors and their dominating offense. This might change a bit next season. While great defenders Paul Tucker and big man Clint Capella return, the Rockets lose a couple key pieces that contributed greatly last year. Trevor Ariza is off to Phoenix, and Mbah-a-Moute signed with the Clippers for a second stint in LA. However, they did manage to retain Gerald Green, who will most likely be asked to help fill the Trevor Ariza role. These guys will also be replaced by Carmelo Anthony, who last year struggled defensively, especially in the Thunder's first-round matchup with the Jazz, where he found himself on the bench frequently after poor defensive stretches. Ryan Anderson was swapped this offseason for Marquise Chris and Brandon Knight. Chris's defensive ability and versatility seems like a great fit in Houston. They also signed Michael Carter-Williams this offseason, and while he is not a great defender, he has the size and length to fit in with what the Rockets want to do defensively. Losing Ariza and Mbah-a-Moute will be tough on the defense, but the Rockets did enough this offseason that they should have another top 10 defensive season, and above all else should be able to contain the Warriors' potent offense enough to have a chance in the playoffs. In addition to isolation, another key to their offensive success was the three-point shot. The Rockets shot 50.2% of their field goals from three-point range, or 42.3 a game. These attempts per game edge out the second place Nets by almost 7 threes a game. They have been leading the way with the three-point shot revolution, and last year finished first in offensive rating at 114.7 points per 100 possessions. Another big part of their offensive philosophy is taking two-point shots only around the basket and rarely from mid-range. They finished 11th in percent of field goal attempts from within 3 feet, and just 20.9% of Rockets shots came from 3 feet to the three-point line, which was nearly 12% lower than the second-place Nets. While the Rockets' personnel changed a bit since last year, their philosophy of isolation, switching defensively, and shooting a lot of threes and inside shots will remain true next season. After having the Warriors on the brink of elimination before the Chris Paul injury, the Rockets remain the only legitimate challenger to the Warriors in the West. That's it from the roundtable. Check out the rest of our NBA team previews in the bottom right, and consider subscribing. Our final team preview coming out tomorrow, so look out for that, and thank you very much for watching.